Right. So as part of our Guidewire integration is concerned, we must be knowing about what exactly API call is all about and how this can be used in Guidewire integration. Because we have two things. One is an application side of Guidewire application. One is configuration. Second is integration. Configurations are majorly used to customize and configure. Either it can be pages, it can be workflows, it can be any data models, right? So all this can be configured. When it comes to the integration, it can be one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many applications that is to be integrated. Either it can be internal or external applications. So wherein we normally use an API call, which majorly triggered by any authenticated caller who creates an account and as well as later plans to bind a policy submission. In that regard, so whenever there is a user triggers to any API call by creating a new account, normally the caller application sends the API request to the policy center. These calls including no JW10 as well as no authentication information in the header. Along with this, whenever there is any iExpand token plugins which are even not anonymously used for the users and all because of the kind of call that we are using may not be having an authenticated header. Either it can be policy center will also grant the endpoints access that is to be defined in authentication role .yml, which is an API rule file. So when we update the API rule file under the authenticated role.yml, so whatever the authentication header of the policy center, which grants the resources accesses, that can be defined under the authenticated part here, right? So authenticated user and access by email. So whatever the roles which majorly provides no access to the existing business resources so that we can determine which proxy user to assign the session policy center calls and REST authentication sources, plugins. Everything can be used in this regard. So in continuation to that, when there is any policy center process request will be taken place, whatever the session users which are in the proxy and authentication users or the endpoint accesses which are defined under the unauthenticated roles and all. This provides a sufficient endpoint access to the creation of any kind of new account or any kind of required child objects, something like contacts, locations, all these. Next, how this can be initiated, right? So how a subsequent call to reauthorization for any unauthenticated user that is to be used, so that we are going to discuss in the coming session.